Have you ever been in the middle of a sentence and the word just vanished? You knew exactly what you wanted to say. You could almost feel it, but it was gone, and you stood there reaching for it, smiling awkwardly while your brain scrambled in the background. Or maybe it's not words. Maybe it's that your reaction time feels a half-second slower than it used to. You reach for something and your hand gets there a little late. You go to catch yourself and your body doesn't quite respond the way it should. Most people shrug and say, "I'm just getting older." But here's what I want you to know, what a neurologist would tell you if you had an hour in their office. That slowdown is not random. It has a name, and it has a cause that most people have never heard of. It starts with something called the myelin sheath. Think of every nerve in your body like an electrical wire. Your brain sends a signal: move your hand, remember that name, react to that car stopping in front of you. And that signal has to travel down a wire at incredible speed to reach its destination. Now imagine that wire is wrapped in a thick layer of insulation. That's myelin. It's a fatty coating that surrounds your nerve fibers, and its job is simple: keep the signal fast, clean, and precise. When myelin is healthy and intact, nerve signals travel at extraordinary speed. We're talking hundreds of feet per second. Your thought becomes an action almost instantly. Your memory retrieves information without lag. Your body catches you before you fall. But when myelin starts to wear down, and it does wear down with age, those signals start to leak. They scatter, they slow. The nerve fiber is still there, still trying to do its job, but without proper insulation, the message arrives late, distorted, or not at all. That's brain fog. That's the missing word. That's the delayed reaction. And here's the twist most people miss entirely. Myelin isn't just damaged by time, it's damaged by something you eat every single day: sugar. Not in some vague general sense, specifically, and this part matters, chronically high blood sugar creates a process called oxidative stress. It essentially creates small fires inside your cells. And myelin, because it's made almost entirely of fat, is extremely vulnerable to that kind of damage. Every time your blood sugar spikes sharply and stays elevated, it chips away at that protective coating around your nerves, little by little, for years. This is why people who've had poorly managed blood sugar for a long time often describe feeling mentally slower, foggier, more forgetful. They're not imagining it. The insulation around their nerve fibers has genuinely thinned. Now here's where I want to give you something you can actually use, because this isn't a one-way street. Myelin can be repaired. Not overnight, not with a single pill, but with consistency and with the right raw materials. And those raw materials are fats, specific kinds of fats. Myelin is roughly 70% fat by dry weight. Your brain makes it, maintains it, and rebuilds it constantly, but only if you give it what it needs. The problem is that for the past several decades, we were told that fat was the enemy. Low-fat everything, skip the eggs, avoid the salmon. And the result, which we're only beginning to fully understand, is that millions of people have been chronically undersupplying the very nutrients their nervous system depends most. The fats that matter most for myelin are omega-3 fatty acids, and two in particular, DHA and EPA. You'll find them in wild-caught fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring. Even 2 or 3 servings per week makes a measurable difference in brain tissue health over time. Studies on aging populations show that higher omega-3 levels in the blood correlate directly with thicker, better preserved myelin into your 70s and 80s. But fish isn't the only source. Walnuts, flaxseed, chia seeds, these contain a precursor form of omega-3 that your body can partially convert. They're not as efficient as fish, but they matter, especially if you eat them regularly and give your metabolism time to work. There's another piece of this that doesn't get nearly enough attention: vitamin B12. If you are over 60, this is arguably the most important single nutrient for your nervous system. Not because it's exotic or expensive, it's in eggs, in meat, in dairy, but because your stomach's ability to absorb it drops significantly as you age. The acid environment your gut needs to extract B12 from food weakens over time. The result is that many older adults are quietly, chronically deficient in B12 without any dramatic symptoms, just a slow, creeping deterioration of nerve function, tingling in the hands or feet, subtle memory changes, fatigue that doesn't resolve with sleep. B12 is a direct building block of myelin. Without it, your body literally cannot maintain the coating around your nerves. A simple blood test can tell you your levels. If you haven't checked in a while, that's worth a conversation with your doctor, because the solution is often straightforward, and the difference in how you feel can be profound. Now let me pull this all together in a way that actually changes your week. Every morning, you have a choice that takes about 60 seconds and has a direct impact on your brain's insulation. If you eat breakfast high in refined carbohydrates, white bread, sweetened cereal, fruit juice alone, you spike your blood sugar, you trigger oxidative stress, you start the day chipping away at your myelin. If you instead build your breakfast around protein and healthy fat, 2 eggs, some smoked salmon, a handful of walnuts, half an avocado, you give your body the raw materials it needs to repair and maintain that insulation. You start the day building your brain up instead of breaking it down. That's not a diet, it's a biological decision you make before 9 in the morning. And it compounds day after day. The difference becomes structural, literally. The thickness of the coating around your nerve fibers reflects the choices you've made over months and years. I want to close with something I find genuinely extraordinary. Science once believed that nerve damage was permanent, that once myelin deteriorated, it was gone. That was the prevailing view for most of the 20th century. We now know that's wrong. Oligodendrocytes, the cells responsible for producing myelin, remain active well into old age. They are waiting for the signal to build. They need the right nutritional environment, the right absence of chronic sugar stress, and they will work. Your nervous system is not resigned to decline. It is actively trying to maintain itself every single day. The question is simply whether you're giving it what it needs or consistently taking away the resources it depends on. One more thing worth knowing. In a previous episode on the hippocampus and how learning new movements builds new brain cells, we talked about physical activity and neurogenesis. Myelin repair and neurogenesis work together. The exercises we discussed there actually stimulate the production of the very proteins that signal your oligodendrocytes to wrap new myelin around nerve fibers. If you haven't seen that episode, it pairs directly with what we covered today. So before I leave you, take stock. What does your breakfast look like most mornings? Is there a protein source, a healthy fat, or is it mostly quick carbohydrates? That single meal, repeated over time, is either your nervous system's best friend or its quiet enemy. The science is clear, the solution is accessible, and you're already doing the hardest part, paying attention. If this gave you something useful today, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this content reach other people who need it. I'll see you in the next one.